clear for some time that Real Housewives of Atlanta production has tried to sabotage the show by subtly promoting their own agenda, which seems to be propagating a certain stereotypical image of melanated women to the public. Because the show has gone from a lineup of successful, savvy, and classy ladies who can settle their differences with verbal shade and dirty looks, to being infiltrated by alleged scamming thoughts who resort to throwing hands, menacing behavior, grand theft husband, or attempted husband snatching.
When it looks like Portia Williams started plotting on Angela Oakley's husband before they even met.
Angela Oakley. Now I don't know Angela, but I hear her husband is everything.
Have y'all ever had a threesome?
No threesome.
I didn't hear your husband was spicy.
He can be.
No, I heard something about Charles.
Really? Wait a minute. Talk about it.
No, wait.
No. What did you hear about my husband?
Portia saying she better stop before I f her husband.
Oh, you dirty mother.
And nothing proves that more than when they cast Brit Eady to try and humble Kenya Moore, only to find out firsthand why you should never get in bed with a thought. Because not only did Brit Eady's entire stint on the latest season prove to be a complete bore and utter failure, but she allegedly reneged on her contract with them by skipping the reunion.
Brit Eady ghosting the RHOA reunion after all her dirt was exposed this season is giving.
Hit the button. Let me the f up out of here.
And has filed a lawsuit against Bravo that threatens to completely unveil what seems to be a plot to pay Kenya less than she deserved as the last OG on the show. From the very first episode of the season, Brit's obsession revealed itself as she immediately tried to gaslight Kenya Moore with annoyingly nasal accusations of hazing and targeting, when Kenya was literally on her best behavior and really ignoring all of Brit's shenanigans. Yet Brit just kept on picking. Oh, she talked about my ring. Oh, she didn't greet me like she did everybody else. Oh, why didn't she hug me the same way she hugged everybody else? It got to the point where people were looking at Brit like, girl, are you okay? What's wrong with you? And it became obvious that with three seemingly stable new housewives, Shamea, Angela, and Kelly, each with various things going on in their lives and clearly defined roles. Shamea was putting her own spin on Candy's rich and unbothered aura. Angela was bringing old school housewives vibe with lightning speed reads and subtle background maneuvers, while Kelly was a louder version of Phaedra's messy debutante, immediately coming for Portia with, why she still that lady's husband? But with Brit's creepy, wide-eyed obsession with Kenya going so far as to demand why Kenya would have personal boundaries with complete strangers, Rhoa producers had definitely thrown a cuckoo bird in the nest, and no one could understand why. It was like playing a game of which one of these things do not belong, because try as she might, Brit's attempts to bait Kenya fell flat and just came across as plain weird. Almost as weird as Brit's ambiguous husband choosing to comfort his crying wife with the church hug on steroids. The crazy-eyed staring and the constantly wanting Kenya's touch and attention was giving single melanated female.
Brit Eady coming on RHOA already obsessed with Kenya is giving.
He a fan. Hey, run for your life. Hey, run for your life.
And it reached critical levels when Brit yet again confronted Kenya for not giving her a full hug or being overly effusive with her. And Kenya, who after 4 episodes of this weirdness had finally had enough and said peasants cannot come for a queen. And that must have touched on all of Brit's insecurities because it was up from there. And she literally threatened Kenya with a piece, and according to Kenya, also said that was why she carried pieces for bees like her. After those menacing words, Kenya could clearly be heard saying that that girl was a problem and she had to go. And so when Kenya, someone who had already been subjected to a physical confrontation on the show several years ago, when the original Princess Tatiana decided to try to literally drag Kenya after she called her out for being an unlearned bedroom worker. And when the crew broke it up, Portia then proceeded to throw a screaming, leg-flailing tantrum on the floor about how Kenya made her embarrass herself, taking no accountability for making things physical just because she couldn't handle being called out.
Kenya Moore used to call out all of Portia's hotivities like she was at a Michael Jackson concert.
So after that whole experience, plus years of still having to work with Portia on the show as she went on to have more and more physical confrontations with others, Kenya immediately recognized the signs of another seemingly unstable castmate. So Kenya went to production, but they dismissed her concerns and did absolutely nothing about this newbie, who for all anyone knew at the time had absolutely nothing to lose. This was something that should have been investigated immediately, especially with those menacing remarks coming from someone who has gone on previous interviews and told others that she carries her piece everywhere, and was even on a show with Stevie J talking about how she'll keep other women in line with her whip. Instead, Kenya was left to fend for herself, and in an effort to try and expose the type of woman that producers were allowing to infiltrate the show, someone went down to Kinko's or Staples and made some posters, and the next thing you know, Kenya was suspended. And then, when she revealed the reason behind her actions, production even lied and said they investigated and no menacing words were spoken to Kenya, only for them to turn around over a year later and air Brit's comments during the season. Meanwhile, Kenya twirled her way to her own YouTube channel and new podcast, and the show was left with Brit, who spent the next few episodes crying about what Kenya did to her, to the point that her own mother was looking like, "Girl, give it a rest."
Are you done? Are you done?
Then, after throwing her Hunger Games Country Club Classic event, which had the guests eyeballing the food that was only available for the housewives to eat, which was probably one of the reasons Shamia decided to bark like a dog guarding its food in response to Drew's lapdog comments, Brit must have realized that she had to step up her performance on the show, because on the Grenada trip, after saying that only hood rats did shots and they were supposed to be classy ladies, Brit took some advice from the Handbook of Hypocrisy and Hotivity and proceeded to take off all her clothes in front of the housewives and the male and female crew, and as if that wasn't bad enough, she started to shimmy and grind her uncovered bits and pieces all over the countertop, which left everybody wondering why the hell anyone was mad at Kenya, when Brit, unexpectedly and without the consent of those present, exposed herself to everyone while making explicitly suggestive movements on the unsuspecting kitchen island, only for Brit to turn around months later and not only skip the reunion that Kenya was uninvited to because they expected Brit to be there, but then tell the world that those pictures she spent the entire season milking weren't even of her, but she was suing Bravo anyway because they made her look bad. Meanwhile, the rest of the world was like, "Girl, you did that all by yourself." And the fact that Brit thinks she can sue because Bravo aired a storyline that she clearly participated in is either giving Looney Tunes, or maybe this is all just a smokescreen to cover up the possibility that she might have been recruited to do Rhoa's nasty work of sabotaging the show just to find ways to underpay the melanated talent by any means necessary. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. Have fun today.